Tariffs are going to reduce trade between countries, and that's going to reduce shipping, and it's going to have a knock-on impact on the industry as a whole. But we've seen time and time again, study after study, that tariffs in long term actually reduce prosperity. They actually have a negative effect on growth and will hit the consumer in the pocket.
Have you been able to model at all, right, based on 25% tariffs, what we know now, right, what kind of effect that's going to have on, mainly it's going to be Korean cars and also Japanese cars that head to the U.S.? It's
too early to tell at the moment. Well, certainly looking at that sort of thing, but undoubtedly if it's going to reduce imports, it's going to reduce the amount of ships that are needed, and it's going to increase costs for consumers overall. So that's something we need to model, and we need to see when and if it actually comes into effect, because these things have been argued before and never ever happened. So it's very uncertain times for shipping at the moment in all sectors and all trades.
Indeed. Guy, what are flows telling you, shipping flows? And there's a lot of evidence in the data, isn't there, of front-loading ahead of tariffs. Is that starting to wear off now? And are your members warning, perhaps, of recessionary activity?
I think we're just really concerned. It's really uncertain times at the moment, and the members just don't know how to plan for the future. I mean, we talk about this fee-based approach on Chinese-built ships, which is retrospective. So even if you've made your decisions 10 years ago, you're going to be hit by these fees, and that's going to have an immediate effect on trade if they come in, as was the recommendation of the USTR Section 301 report. So I think at the moment, I think ship owners are just reeling from all one bit of news after another and trying to make plans for the future.
And in terms of what the Plan B is, how much diversion is going on? How much, if you think about it in terms of expansion of existing trade deals and other partnerships, other customers and flows moving around and avoiding perhaps those markets where the tariff barriers are going up, is that going to be a theme in the second half of the year? Or?
Absolutely. In terms of tariffs, I think trade will always flow. That's the one thing I've learned in my long career within this industry. Trade will continue to flow, and then we're a very connected world. So we'll find a work round it all, because we always do. I think immediate concern is these port fees on Chinese-built ships. It's about 12% of trade goes to the US, where nobody's going to be able to suddenly shift to Chinese-built ships serving these routes.
What sort of cost impact is that going to have, and ultimately what does that mean for margins amongst your members?
I mean, I was at the hearing on Monday as well and testified on behalf of the industry, and it was very interesting hearing from a number of US-based shipping companies who generally operate sort of feeder services, smaller ships, because the tariff doesn't matter what size ship you are, whether it's a 20,000 TEU container ship or whether it's a 200 TEU container ship. And some of them are just saying, I will go out of business. Yeah. This is it. I will not be able to. There's one American-based container line which actually goes between America and North Europe. All their ships are Chinese-built. They would say they would just have to redeploy them elsewhere. They would go out of business, shut their headquarters, and lost the jobs there. So there was some really powerful testimony on Monday. It was very interesting to hear.
Yeah, I'm curious on the port fees themselves. Actually, we'll get back to the port fees, but let's talk about April the 2nd, right? Reciprocal tariffs, right? When and if that does kick in, and Trump is promising they will, right, on that date, are there going to be any physical workarounds this time around? Rerouting possible? Because in this case, look, wherever you go, it's the same thing. Tariffs are basically going to go up.
I think we need to study the detail on all of this and see what's happening there. But it's a real concern, I think, for shipping companies as to what to do next. We are seeing the effect, about people taking on long-term charters and things like that, because they're not sure what the landscape's going to be going forward. So we really are in uncertain times at the moment when it comes to trade. But what I do know is that shipping is resilient, and it will always be there.